I almost missed it. It was tucked between the door and the frame, like somebody didn't want the neighbors to see them leave it. A white card, official looking. Department of Children and Family Services printed across the top. I stood there for I don't know how long, just holding it. My mind went everywhere at once. Who called? What did they say? What do they think is happening in my house? What happens to my kids if... I had to stop myself. I went inside, put my bag down, made myself sit before my legs made the decision for me. The card said to call within 24 hours. It had a case number already. A case number! Like something had already been decided before I even knew there was a question. My first instinct was to call my sister, then my neighbor. Then I thought about posting because I needed somebody to know this was happening to me and it wasn't right. I didn't do anything wrong, so why worry, right? Not that I wasn't scared. I was. But something in me said, be careful what you do in the next few hours because you can't undo it. I put the card on the table. I got a piece of paper, and I wrote down the exact time I found it, what it said, and what I had been doing all day. I don't know why I did that first. I just knew I needed to remember and document everything exactly as it was before anything else happened. I'll figure out the next step tomorrow, but tonight I'm writing everything down. Everything. I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I was running through scenarios. What if they come back before I call? What if calling makes it worse? What if not calling makes it worse? I looked up the number on the card. Then I stopped. I realized I didn't actually know what I was walking into, and I couldn't afford to find out by accident. So before I called anybody, I spent 2 hours learning. Not panicking. Learning. There's a difference, and it took me a minute to find it. I found out that the moment I engage with this process, I'm not just a mother anymore. At least not in the way that system sees me. I become a respondent, a subject. Every word I say, every emotion I show, every reaction I have gets filtered through a lens I didn't choose and can't fully see. That hit me hard. Because my instinct is to tell them everything, to be open, to show them I have nothing to hide, to feel my way through this, because my love for my children is real, and shouldn't that be enough? But I kept reading, and I realized that the arena I was about to enter doesn't measure love. It measures documentation. It doesn't respond to sincerity. It responds to evidence. It's like I had to learn a different language before I crossed the border. Not because my language was wrong, but because on the other side of that call, a different set of rules applied. I made a list of everything I could document before I picked up that phone. School attendance records, medical appointments, names and dates. Anything that said, in the language they speak, that my children are safe, cared for, and accounted for. Tomorrow I make the call, but I'm going in prepared. Not defensive, prepared. There's a difference, and that difference might be everything. The call lasted 22 minutes. I know because I wrote it down before I even hung up. She was professional, friendly even. Asked about the kids, about our routine, about whether anyone else lived in the home. Normal questions on the surface. But I noticed something. Every question had a shape to it, like it was designed to get me to say something a certain way. And if I had called yesterday, before I understood what I was walking into, I would have answered differently. I would have gotten emotional when she asked about the person who made the report. I would have said things about them that sounded defensive. I would have volunteered information she didn't ask for, because I would have been trying to convince her. And convincing feels like talking more. Instead, I answered what was asked, clearly, calmly, with dates and names ready when they were relevant. When she asked if she could schedule a home visit, I didn't panic. I asked what the process looked like and what I should have available. That's not obstruction. That's preparation. And she responded to it like it was normal, because in that arena, it is. When I hung up, I sat quietly for a few minutes. I was still scared. That didn't go away. But the fear stayed in its lane. It didn't drive. I thought about how differently that call could have gone if I had let what I felt in the moment decide what I said in the moment. The system wasn't my enemy today, but it wasn't my friend either. It was a process, and processes respond to the people who understand how to move through them. I'm still writing everything down. Date, time, her name, what was asked, what I said. The case isn't closed, but I'm still standing. And I know exactly what I did and didn't say.
What you just heard wasn't fiction. It's a day-to-day reality for thousands of families in the U.S. every year. Here's what most parents don't know before they make that call. CPS proceedings are not criminal proceedings. That matters because the constitutional protections you assume you have, the ones that require the government to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt, do not automatically apply here. The standard in most child welfare proceedings is called preponderance of evidence. That means the state only has to convince a judge it's more likely than not that something went wrong. That's a 51% threshold between you and losing your child. The Supreme Court said in Santosky v. Kramer that termination of parental rights requires clear and convincing evidence. But investigation and removal proceedings operate under different rules in most states. And many parents never know that until it's too late. There's something else. In Lassiter v.'s Department of Social Services, the Supreme Court held that indigent parents are not automatically guaranteed an attorney in termination proceedings. You can face professional government attorneys and clinical experts alone. That's not an accident. That's architecture. So what did the narrator do right? She didn't perform innocence. She documented reality. She didn't volunteer what wasn't asked. She answered what was. She didn't let fear drive the conversation. She let preparation drive it instead. Your feelings about what's happening to your family are valid, but the arena you're entering doesn't measure feelings. It measures the record. Build yours before you pick up that phone. Know your rights. Verify what applies in your state, and never walk through that door unprepared.